All right, so got a few things to get through today. Actually, just talking about the Crows' victory on the weekend. Um, I'd highly recommend for you if you're on Facebook to like a page called Useless AFL Facts. Uh, it's very amusing, and they've just come up with an absolute ripper. Days since your club last kicked 10 goals in a quarter, and of course the Crows is 2 days old. And their caption to the post is only the very good teams kick 10 goals in a row. And you wouldn't believe it that the team with the longest time since they kicked 10 goals in a quarter for 7,968 days is Brisbane. So there you go. Quite an amazing stat. Anyway, uh, let's get on to Adelaide Footy League stuff, hey? I had one of our experienced umpires or coaches contact me, just wanted a clarification on a couple of things. So one of them was the procedure for yellow and red cards. What do we do on the field after we hand one out? So in fact, the coach in question is responsible for a change in procedure. It's Craig Tuatha. So many of you will know a few years ago he was involved in a very nasty incident, taking a Rosewater player off, escorting him off, and got hit. Got a black eye all over the news. Obviously, the Rosewater player Adam Rumbelow got a lifetime ban. But since then, we've said we don't want you escorting players off when you're taking them off for a yellow and red card because that's putting you in a very dangerous situation. So just make sure we're not escorting a player off in those situations. However, what we did discover after giving that instruction was sometimes the messages weren't getting through to the clubs about what actually was happening, whether it was a yellow or red card, how long they're off for, etc., etc. So I have said over the time that I want you to get the runner out to tell them what's going on so they can relate to the coaching bench. If that needs to happen, then do that. But if you are near the coach's bench, and you can communicate with them without being near the player, then you can just yell out to them. So it's important that in one way or another, either straight to the coach's bench or through the runner, that you let the coach know or the coaching bench know whether it's a yellow or red card, whether the player can be replaced or not. Obviously, with the yellow card, they can be, red, they can't, and how long the carded player needs to be off for. So just make sure you get those messages to the team so they know what they need to do. And yeah, either straight to the coach's bench calling out loudly or through the runner. Just on the free kicks, what happens when you've given a yellow or red card? So free kicks awarded to the team offended against, obviously. You only pay, we've talked this a few times, you only pay a 25 if a free kick or mark have been paid separately to the card incident before that. So it's not like a 25 is paid every time you have a card. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You might have paid a mark or free kick, then the incident occurs, and that's a 25. But if the card incident is the one incident that you're paying a free kick for, it's not a 25. Now, the question was what happens if one player from each side is sent off. So if it's for a simultaneous action, say they're both wrestling and you want to send both players off, which often happens, if you've got a mark or free kick, then that stands. Otherwise, it's just a ball up. But the time where you would pay a free kick is if you're giving a card to a player for a certain action, and then there's retaliation from the other team where you send them off as well. You end up paying a free kick against the last action, which is a retaliation. So in that case, you'd be paying a free kick for the initial act, then you reverse it for the retaliation. So in that case, when you're sending two players off, there's a free kick paid to the last act, if that all makes sense. So just make sure that we go off those things. I'll dot point that in the coaching notes. Just make sure you get it in your head. You know, when you're brand new to umpiring, a lot happens at once, so that's why we like the experienced umpires to be with the not so experienced umpires when we can to help out in the situations. But it's important that we tick off all those things before we get the play restarted. So I have seen sometimes yellow cards given out, especially where we're in a real hurry to get the game going. But um, it's just important that we actually get the player off, allow the player to come on if it's a yellow card, uh, tell the club exactly what's going on, award the free kick if there is one, or a 25 if there is one. So yeah, just a lot can happen in a moment. Just make sure you read the notes, get in your head exactly what should happen. And yeah, I guess if you're in that situation where you are, it's a little bit too much, then feel free to, I guess, just check with the other umpire so that you can hopefully get it right. I see a couple of people have unmuted themselves. So, Mark or Sam.
I've got a question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I've only done one reportable offence, but I noticed we have to record the time in the quarter. Who actually records that? Because when you're out there, I've no effing idea what the time is.
Well, really, at the end of the day, the interchange steward can help in that situation. When you're putting it into the red card section, if it's a red card you're talking about, because you don't have to worry about it for yellow cards, you don't have to know what quarter.
That's right.
For red cards, I think there's a bracket, so it's like 0 to 10 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, 20 plus. So it's just a rough idea, and then
Yeah.
obviously,
Okay.
yeah. So don't be too pedantic about that. But it is important actually. You've just reminded me, probably what I need to add to these notes is we take note of the player's number, because we can't rely on the clubs to always note that. And so yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. I'll add that to the notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I always do. I have, like my little notebook and write it down.
Yep. Spot on.
Number of club.
Yep. Excellent. Sam, did you have anything to ask? Or you just joined late and haven't muted you?
No, nothing for me.
Yeah,
No,
I think
sorry.
yeah, you and Craig and the other guys were having a bit of a discussion Saturday night. That's when I got the message from Craig to clarify all that. So hopefully that does the trick. The other thing that Craig wanted me to clarify, just free kicks before the centre squared ball up. So at the start of a quarter or after a goal, you've got players in the end zone for a 666 that shouldn't be running out until the ball's thrown up. And you've got the wings that can't run into the centre square until the ball's thrown up. I don't want us and the boundary umpires getting really technical about this. Let's say they're one step over, or like we don't want to be silly about it. But if someone runs in, well and truly before the ball's thrown up, way early, then you pay a free kick. If the boundary's there and sees it, they blow the whistle and let us know which way the free kick has to go. If we see it, then we can pay it. That is because if you're doing AFL or sample, it'd be purely a boundary umpire's call. But at our level, we've got a lot of real young boundary umpires, and at Seagrove, we don't have any boundary umpires at all. So really, in those cases, if it's really obvious, either the boundary or the field can pay it. But yeah, if it's borderline, you might just warn the player. But if they're running in way early and they're getting an advantage on their opposition player, that's where the free kicks are paid. Yeah, I think that's all I need to cover. Sam, does that cover the questions you had? Were you having those discussions with Craig, or was that just Craig talking to himself?
No, he did, but I thought I addressed it with him, but obviously I hadn't.
He maybe just wanted me to open it up with the group, so that's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
Everything I covered pretty much is what you said, I hope.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Training. We've got first and second year umpires doing skill drills this Wednesday night. So just bring a whistle if you're one of those and join in. We do it 4 times a year, so this is the second one for the year. And this Wednesday night, the Umpires Association putting on a free barbie, so a good reason to come along, get a free stag. Some cheap drinks available as well. All right. We've got on the June long weekend, obviously there's a bye for all the Adelaide Footy League clubs, but this year, for the first time in a while, we've got state games for the men and women, and they're going to be held at Norwood Oval. And we have the Div 12 Reserves game, which is run by the Marmalade boys and gets a fair bit of social media traction. So So the 3 games, we've actually got all the umpiring appointments. I'll put the field boundary and goal in the coaching notes. I'll just read out the field here. So the state game for the men, we're going to have one Victorian umpire running with Andrew Crosby and Frank Maticus. For the women's state game, we're going to have one Victorian umpire as well, run with Matt Harris and Paul Smith. And the Div 12 reserves have got a very experienced panel. So Sam Kalella, Ian Gore, and Ian Milson. So it should be a bit of fun with that. And we've got some field umpires running the boundary in that game too. Jason Mounts, Jamie Thompson, Chris Cummings. So appreciate you all making yourself available for those games, and congratulations for the appointments. As I said, I'll put the complete list in the coaching notes. While we're acknowledging umpires, got some milestones here. First men's Divi 1 game last weekend, it was late call-up Richard Hall in the goals. Great to see Richard thriving in the goals. He was a fieldy there for a while, but he's really enjoying his goal umpiring experience, which is great. Got some 50 gamers, Mick Savitt in the field, Lucas Cummings and Noah Horn on the boundary. Got a few hundred gamers. We've got 4 fieldies, Alex Howley, Mark Coshead, Alison McMeekin, Maddie Raymond, and on the boundary, Zoe Blundell, all doing 100 games. And 200 games last weekend was Maddie Oates, so as a field. So well done to you all for those milestones. All right, so that's all the notes I have. Now, I'm not quite sure what that message means, Cros. Do you want to explain what that message is? Anyway, maybe you can tell me later. All right, anyone want to raise anything from the weekend that they want to ask about or mention? Dave?
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Colin. I had an interesting thing that happened in my women's Division 2 reserves game between Eastern Park and Hectorville. Now, what actually?
Or you just cut out there, Dave?
Okay, sorry. Must be an issue with the internet. But
Go on.
there was
No, mate, it's not working. I think we're going to have to give up.
Had a knot in the. I might be able to try and. Sorry, unfortunately the internet's rubbish at the moment. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's absolute rubbish. Oh, hopefully I might have to go outside for this. Yeah. So there was. I noticed there was one of the players from Hectorville had a knot in the Guernsey, which was basically a modified Guernsey to fit. Now, I actually had some words with her at 3/4 time to let her know that you can't do that in football because it's a danger to other players.
Sorry, say that again, mate. What was that?
So it was a player with a knot had a knot in the back of her Guernsey. So it's a modified. So she modified her Guernsey to fit.
Yeah.
I said to her, I said to her at 3/4 time that that you can't do that in football. You can't modify a Guernsey to fit, because if you have a knot in the Guernsey, it can cause a danger to other players. Now, Sanford Juniors have banned that, don't allow it, but I'm just asking for your opinion. Is that allowed? Is that allowed in the Adelaide Footy League, or is that the same thing? Is that the same rule? They can't modify the Guernsey to fit.
I'm not sure that is a safety issue, is it really?
Yeah, well, Sanford Juniors don't allow it, but it's a bit. But Sanford Juniors actually don't allow it. It actually says in the rules and regulations. But in my view, what happens if you actually tackle a player, grab the Guernsey, your finger gets stuck in the knot, and that can cause a broken finger.
It's a big if, Dave. I don't think we should be making an issue of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think if an opposition club raises that as an issue, which I highly doubt they will, tell them to raise it with the league. I certainly haven't had any instruction from the league about taking action on that type of thing. I think we have to be aware of long nails, or or other pieces of equipment, some jewelry and things like that. That perhaps, but I'm not sure about a knot in a Guernsey is going to cause any problems.
Yeah, that's all right, Colin. In fact, I have actually had players wearing jewellery on the games, and I've always told them to head off the field, take the jewellery off, and then come back on the field. I just see it as a safety hazard.
I'm fine by that. I think you're doing the right thing. I'm just not
Yeah,
sure the knots in the Guernsey are worth making a big issue of, mate.
yeah, that's all good. Thanks, Colin.
Yeah. Now I have just had an interesting note sent to me. One of the B grade coaches was met by the two umpires last weekend, and he said that it's the first time in 4 weeks that umpires have actually met him before the game. I'm pretty annoyed at that. Like, I think I've made it pretty clear that it's an expectation that you must meet the coaches. And if you're doing a back-to-back game, you still got to find a time to meet the coaches. I'm actually going to make it, if it gets back to me that you haven't met either coach before the game, you'll miss a week. You'll be dropped. I'm sick of asking it. So do it. Just do it. It's not a hard ask. It's a really important public relations exercise. It's the only chance that the coaches get to see the umpires. If anyone doesn't go see it, they'll miss a week after. I'm just sick of asking, all right? So thanks for the person that sent me that message. It's got me a little bit grumpy. I just thought everyone was on board with that, but it's just not on. If you're not going to see the coaches, expect to start getting suspended. I'm sick of it. All right. Let's get back. Anything else before I move on to the coaching video?
Yeah, Colin, Andrew here.
Yeah, mate?
Just to clarify my comment, Sean's out there digging a hole in the dark wilderness there. That just looks like he's burying a body or something.
I think it's probably best we don't ask questions.
No. I've just an observation over the last few weeks, largely, in the C grade games. I've had umpires that have been really over officious with giving out warnings for 666.
Yeah.
Where clearly there's just the slightest delay and then they straight up give a warning. So maybe it might be worth perhaps sending something out about the process there and just reminding people that we are waiting for them. And it's only, if there's an obvious delay or if they're trying to time waste in a close game with no time on, that they perhaps a free kick might be paid in that case.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I've said it a few times, and I'm glad you brought it up if you're seeing it. I think it's up to us. Those of you on the line are the ones that actually engaged in the coaching and on board. I've got over 200 field umpires on the books. Not all of them read the coaching notes or attend the Zooms. And I guess I would imagine the majority of the group know the instructions. If you see someone being over officious about 666, just remind them about what I say. Really, at the end of the day, we should only be giving out official warnings if there's a significant delay in having to wait for them. But if we can just help them get set, it's at the end of the day, we don't need to be being over technical about the 666 rule. So yeah, thanks, Cros, for the reminder. And if you could all help out with that, that'd be good. And I'll also help out with going to see the coach before the game. I just want to say that one more time. All right. Anyone else? Okay. Let's go on to the coaching video. So just bear with me. All right. Bo, are you there?
Yeah, Carl.
Have you watched this coaching video yet?
Nah, I haven't had a chance at all.
It's quite ironic because the very first example is what we were talking about. But
Okay,
someone who
beautiful.
hasn't watched it to have a look. Someone just to volunteer themselves who has seen it. Brendan Smiles.
Yep, I had a look at it.
Cool. All right. So yeah, we're on coaching session number 4. So just mute the volume so I can hear what you have to say. All right. What do you think?
I think number 14 has come into the area of play. I didn't hear play on from the umpire. So from that,
Play on was called.
okay, I couldn't
And
hear that.
in the end, there wasn't free kick paid. But regardless, I mean, I've got it muted so you can't hear the play on. But just like from what you saw, would you call play on, let it go, or would you call a 25?
I would call 25 without having heard the play on call.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting you say that. So I was talking through with Bo something that happened in his game. I agree this is a 25. The reason why this is a 25 is the player with the ball hasn't yet played on, and the player who comes in is lingering in the protected zone. So because he's lingering, he's in a spot where he shouldn't be, and then the player does play on, and therefore he's in a situation where he smothers the ball. So in that case, it's a 25. What happened in Bo's game on the weekend was a mark was taken and the player with the ball immediately played on, went over the mark, and there was a player behind him that hadn't had a chance to get out of the protected zone. Now, Bo hadn't called play on and ended up calling 25. I've marked that as a wrong call because whether he's called play on or not, the player has played on and gone over the mark. So I think Bo was a bit slow in calling play on. But just because you haven't called play on, if you see them go over the mark and the player sees them go over the mark, just call play on as quickly as you can and allow it to go. Why this one's a 25 is because there's a period of time where the player who comes in doesn't make an effort to get out of the protected zone. So if that makes sense, there's two separate scenarios.
Yep, absolutely.
Play on immediately, they haven't the opposition player hasn't had a chance to leave the protected zone, and therefore it's not a 25 because when they play on, it's you're entitled to go in there. But if they don't play on immediately and they're behind the mark, then the other players need to make an effort to get out, so they're not in a position to spoil like it was here. Hopefully that makes sense because there are
Makes absolute sense.
scenarios. But in that particular case, just I think a 25 should have been paid. All right.
I'll do this one, Colin, in the interest of moving along. I reckon it's Holden. Oh, yeah, you're going to play it?
Let me play it.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what you say about this, Sam.
Yeah. I think it's holding the ball. It looks like it looked like he didn't have prior opportunity, but he did when he saw the guy coming to tackle, he did duck into it. So I reckon it's the right call. Holding
That's
the ball.
all you want to say about it?
Yep.
Anyone else want to add to that?
It looked like he was tackled by his own
Ask me,
teammate.
Colin. Ask me.
So that, Gory, again, Gory?
Yeah, I would have paid after that. I would have reversed the free with a one of those false bravado frees.
100%. 100%. So, yes, I think it's holding the ball. I think he doesn't make a genuine attempt. I think there's a prior there. At the end of the day, there is a tackle from the opposition player. But what I really put it on there for was not the holding the ball, was what happened afterwards. He pretty much slings him out of the way. So why is that Woodville South player come in and do that? He just doesn't need to. It's holding on. So what you say to him is, we'll take control. We'll pay 25 if it's delaying the play. We don't want you to come in, grab him, and sling him out of the way like that. So, yes, it would have been a shot from goal, but I don't care. I reckon that's a take no shit free kick and reverse it. So, yeah, got any Gory? All right, Matty Harris, either one.
Yeah, sorry, Colin. I reckon I watched the wrong. I thought it was coaching session 5 I watched. I was all prepared for it too.
So at the moment, the guy that's putting together the video is a week ahead, and I'm hoping he gets them all done as soon as possible. Just look at the video that I send you the link to, or that's on the website, because it does go to the actual one that we're watching. So yeah, that's all right, mate.
Get me next week.
Gav, do you want to do the next one?
Yep.
Have you seen it?
I have watched it. Your
Alright.
screen's frozen on my end, or have you paused it?
Yeah, I just paused it. I was just waiting for someone to do it. Okay, so let me go again. If you watched, it is hard to watch it on the Zoom. It's a really interesting one, this one.
Yeah, I think I would have reset the mark because he didn't go off his line, so I don't think he was actually making an attempt to play on. He just fumbled the ball. So reset it, go again.
Okay, so that's exactly what Joel did. I think most people that watch this might disagree with you. And if he just goes in a straight line, then yes, he fumbles it, you do it. I just reckon in that case, and it's hard to be exact but from the angle of that, it looks like he does play on, does move off his line. So I guess the point of that one is, and I think everyone there, I was there on the day, and I think all the players were expecting a play on call. It was a bit of a, what the hell's the umpire doing? And I know that Joel was thinking exactly like you were. He hasn't played on, so therefore I'm going to let him reset it. And if you see him just go straight at the mark, then that's the right decision. But I reckon this one he's angled off enough for it to be called play on. Yeah. It was an interesting one. It was one that I've shown a few people. I think the majority of people I showed tend to say, oh, that should be play on. But
there was actually a call like that in one of the games on the weekend.
Yeah. And you nailed it, did you?
I know, I didn't nail it. I saw it and I went, oh yeah.
What? They
Colin?
play on or they didn't?
Yeah, it was they called play on. He went like 45 degrees, dropped the ball, and he called it played on.
Yeah.
Colin, if he hadn't played on, technically it was a 25 metre, isn't it?
Yeah, true. But geez, he's only run over there because he believed he'd play on like everyone else had.
Yeah,
But yes, absolutely. If he's going straight at the line and he runs over, yes, it would be. Yeah, you're right. And I guess that's the problem with these watching decisions and looking at individual examples is, one example that we look at here could be very similar to the one you see this weekend, and they're different results. So I guess it's important that we understand, a rationale explanation. Cody, did you unmute yourself there for a reason, mate?
Yeah, it was Josh Dunkley did it in the Brisbane game when he was lining up, and he got called play on.
They did call play on.
Mm.
Yeah, did he go off the line? That was the one that Mark was thinking of, right?
I'm not sure, but it was a set shot, I think, but they called play on anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't take much around the ground for you to call play on in those scenarios. All right, let's go through the marking contest videos. So some key messages. Marking contests are difficult. They're like holding the ball. And just very, very fine line between what's a marking interference and what's not. So the obvious and blatant one. So there's a high tackle here. The key, like Joel's in a really good position to see that. He adjusts his position to be side on, just in front of the contest. Can see the arm over the shoulder. This one here. There's a clear push in the back. Again, positioning is the key. We don't want to miss those ones. James in a good position to see it. And here, Girl isn't is fairly blatant there. Just pushes out, doesn't go for the ball at all. So just make sure we get those obvious and blatant ones. And the majority of free kicks we pay should be obvious and blatant. It's just the 50-50 ones that you get every now and again that cause sometimes the controversies, but that we're really looking to pay the obvious and blatant ones. So where's the player looking? Doesn't mean just because they're not looking at the ball that it's automatically a free kick, but it's a good sign of their intent. If the player realises they're not going to mark it, turns around, watches the player, and then makes the contact. So you would notice a player not looking at the ball and then watch to see if there's any contact. This one's about as obvious as you get. There's no eyes for the ball here. And so yeah, you can see him running towards him with no eyes for the ball. And while we need to make sure that the contact's made before we pay a free kick. It's, we can read the intent just by looking at where they're looking. And similar here, no eyes for the ball. There's contact made and a correct free kick. I think in those cases they're often professional free kicks. They realise they've got to stop the play So late to the contest means there is a high chance of illegal contact. So just be aware that if you've got a player that's late to the contest, there will be times where they spoil properly, but more often than not, they're going to make body contact and there's a free kick warranted. So player under the ball, player late to the ball, and in the end, he just takes his eyes off it and barrels into him. So they're the ones we really want to get. It's really working out what the intent of the player coming in is. And I guess, even if there's a genuine attempt to spoil, if they make that body contact, which puts the other player out of the contest, more often than not, it's going to be a free kick. So when you look at a contest, you got to ask yourself, why can't the player contest the ball? And it's often because there's been a block or someone put out illegally. So this one's a really good pickup from Paul. The Broadview player gets in his way and stops his run at it, and therefore a free kick is paid. Similar here. The intent's to put the player out first before going for the ball. So only pays a free kick. The player in front just doesn't get a chance to contest it because of the player behind pushing him. And another blocking free hit. So when you've got 2 versus 1, that's a bit of a telltale sign that there could be blocking, because the intent of the Elizabeth player here is to put the other player out, the opposition player out of the contest. So there are times where a free kick isn't warranted, and so these ones actually are worth having a look at in slow motion, because at first glance some of these do look like a free kick. But if you actually have a look at, I think this one here, both players simultaneously arrive and both go for the ball. So while it's heavy contact, there's no obvious free kick there. A good play and call because both going for the ball. And in this one here, this one looks like it could be a free kick initially. If you slow it down, I think it's a PRC player. He doesn't push out. He just holds his ground. Elliott's in a perfect position to judge that. And this one here, so similar, looks like it could be a free kick at first glance. But the painted player just holds her ground. Moorfield Park player jumps forward without any push. So a really good decision just to call, I think it was Josh, to call the mark. And the final message on the video is just a copy of the spirit of the law when it comes to marking contests. So the player whose sole objective is to contest a mark should be permitted to do so. So some key messages, some good examples. Anyone want to raise anything from any of those marking contest examples? All right. That's all I have for you tonight, unless anyone else has got anything else to raise. Congratulations again for all those state game appointments and the D12 reserve appointments. Big night of training this Wednesday night with a barbecue. We're getting good numbers out. It's great to see. So look forward to seeing you all again this Wednesday.